We're discussing Ganapati Upanishad. It is seen in the last part of Atharva Veda, and majority of Atharva Veda was written by Atharvana Rishi, also known as Angir. Ganapati Upanishad is not considered one of the major only because it was not commented upon by Shankaracharya. I'm absolutely certain that that would have been the next Upanishad he would have translated, and I'll allude to that reasoning, personal reasoning, as we go through the part of the discussion. Now, the reason why this Upanishad is important is because Atharvana, who wrote majority of Atharva Veda, also included Mundak, Mandukya and Prashna along with Ganapati Upanishad in the Atharva Veda. Now, the reason I like it, because it looks as if this has come out directly from the heart of the writer. Because this particular Upanishad is not only for praying, upasana, but also for understanding the entire Vedanta. So only there are 10 verses, 10 mantras, last 4 being only follow-up. That means what is the outcome, what the benefit from it. So 10 powerful mantras, first 6 of them describing Nirguna Akar, without any form, without any qualities, attributes. So that's a very powerful Upanishad, just 10 and you got it. Similar Ishavasya, similarly short, Yajnavalkya and complete. Now, I've been singing it since I was a young boy, and that was basically in the form of prayer, but I did not quite understand the meaning of it till the time I had a chance to learn through different teachers, spiritual leaders, teachers through my lifetime. Now, I mentioned Shankaracharya. I forgot to mention that this is actually is today and tomorrow is Ekadashi, and it's called Amalaki Ekadashi. I don't know if you know Amalaki Ekadashi story behind it. And of course this weekend is the Holy Purnima. Now Amalaki Ekadashi is Shankaracharya, even though he was offered the job at the court of the king as a prestige for the king, he decided not to work there, but instead survived on getting the bhiksha, going from house to house and eating whatever he receives to sustain himself and continue to study. One day he came to a hut of a old lady, and he saw she had nothing in her house. She had absolutely nothing. And typically when one who has taken the sacred thread ceremony, vow of a Bhattu, he says, Om Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi, kindly give me Bhiksha. And when the old lady realized she has nothing in her house to give him, what she did was went to her cupboard and found one Avla Amlak. It's a special gooseberry that we see in India, which is kept as a medicinal part of it. Amlaki. And then basically she had kept it for medicinal purposes. She said, okay, why don't I give it to you? And then when he saw this poor lady giving the only small piece that she had in the house, he did the prayers to Goddess Lakshmi, the energy of prosperity, and said that please bless this lady with all the material things that she needs. So what Lakshmi did was showered her with all the amlakas from the skies, except all those amlakas were gold. So that is the Amalaki Ekadashi story. Is something to remember. Now, I last time told you what the definition of Atharvana is. Na Tharvati iti Atharvana. That means whose head does not vacillate, is a steady vision. As a matter of fact, the written Ganapati Upanishad is also known as Atharva Shirsha. That means a Upanishad that prevents you from your head getting vacillating, Shirsha, head, by reading, singing, and most of it, as I understand it, understanding the meaning of it. So the Atharva Shirsha, but in the Atharva Veda, it's called Ganapati Upanishad. Now, till the time we learn, as a Vedantic meaning, that really speaking, this energy that makes us who we really are, not the body or the mind, not the sense organs, is all there is, or Sanskrit word is Atma va idam sarvam. Atma va chavai tu hi chav. There are 4 words which have no meaning. Atma idam sarvam. That means no other second entity exists in the world except my awareness. And really speaking, this awareness is not yours, mine. Awareness is only one. It is like a space going in 4 different parts. And you say, this is my part space. But really speaking, it is continuous, because when the part breaks, it mixes with the rest of the space. And once you realize that there is nothing else, really speaking, you're not afraid of it. Dvitiyat bhayam. That means you're afraid because somebody is different than you. In your family, you're comfortable. Somebody unknown, you're not comfortable. But once you understand the basic principle, you're no longer afraid. And till the time you get that knowledge, to follow the path of a sansari, that means married individual. There are 2 marks, 2 methods, sansari and sannyasi. Regardless what path you take, both of them have to learn. So don't think as soon as you put on that saffron robe, you know everything. As a matter of fact, that's the worst part. I tried it in my last life. Because as soon as you put that saffron robe, people look at you as if you know the knowledge. And really speaking, no. And that's why many of those false gurus fall prey to those temptations, because people look up to them as people who are enlightened and nice people from whom to learn, but in reality they are only learning themselves, and in that they fall prey to the temptations of this world. Sansari is good, because then you have a chance of making mistakes and learning from them, and also you have also an advantage of working as a partner. Because when you say dharma, artha, kama, moksha, you have a partner in your crime, if you want to call it, where you not only enjoy the material pleasures and material prosperity and security, living righteously, but also pursue the path of getting liberation, whereas you realize that you are not limited at all. You are unlimited happiness, and that knowledge prevents you from pursuing any more material wealth, because what else do we need? Because once you enjoy that amrut, nothing else really needed. So that is exactly talking about. Now, as we started this Upanishad, we said, Om Namaste Ganapate. That means I bow down, Namahate, with great deal of humility. But Namaha means Name, Mama me avayo no asmakam na. Nothing is mine. Nothing belongs to me. It belongs to God only. So with that sense of humility, recognizing nothing really belongs to you, I bow down with great deal of humility, saying this is all yours, Nama me. And we also, again, we realize that Lord Himself has manifested in the form of 5 gross elements, Prithvi, Aj, Tep, Vayu, and basically you know the 5 different ones. And from that came the 5 different subtle elements. And then if you understand that, coming from Nirgun, Nirakar to Sagun and Sakar, And as long as you're sansari, you follow a sagun and sakar, because it's difficult for anyone to pray to one which is formless, attributeless, with the same degree of intensity or understanding. So you need something that is concrete, if you will. So you go to sagun, and as you know, it can be any form or shape, doesn't matter. You can take a piece of rock. If you remember, I told you the story of a little boy watching his master pour the water on Shivlinga. Doesn't matter, everything is perfectly fine. And you got to remember, you can describe the relationship in God in any form. As Hanuman said, Deha buddhyatu daso. At the body level, till I understand what it is, I'm your servant, I'm your devotee. Jiva buddhyatu daushaka. At the level of the jiva, jivatma. That means atma attached to this awareness, existence in this form. I'm just a minute part of it, like a spullinga, that means big fire coming out, and you see a small little spark come out. But then when you go at the level of awareness, as we started earlier, atma buddhyatu tvam eva aham. I'm only same as you. So that is something you have to realize. Even then, when you are following the prayer to the saguna or sakara or ishta devata, you work hard, learn from a learned, enlightened teacher, but even then you have to contemplate yourself, because what you're getting that is jnana. What you need to do is, by reflecting on that jnana, you have to develop into a vijnana, which is a wisdom, and that comes by recollecting your memory, as we did in the early first prayer that we sang. So your jnana has to be converted to vidya. Now the reason why Ganesha Upanishad, Ganapati Upanishad is favorite of mine, because who is Ganesha? Who is Ganapati? The most pious and sacred entity described in the Sakar Roop is Shiva. Shivoham Shivoham. I am pure, I am absolutely pure. So that's Shiva. And the ultimate cosmic energy is Shakti. And combination of Shakti and this creative power combined with Shiva, the auspiciousness, is the outcome, and that is Ganesha. If I mentioned earlier, he selected 5 entities as a panchayatan that every family should worship. One is Vishnu, one who is Shiva, one is Shakti, one is Surya. He wanted Gayatri mantra. Gayatri is a meter, but it's a Savitru Gayatri. That means a Gayatri for sun god, sun. And the 5th he recommended in the batting order was Ganesha. So for that reason, that becomes the 5 important thing. And depending upon your choice, you have Ishta Devata is in the center and everybody else around it. So as a matter of fact, having written comment on many other Upanishads, more than likely what I written next on Ganapati Upanishad from Atharva Veda, I'm absolutely certain in my mind. Ganapati means, Gana means groups. Ganapati means master of groups. Ganesh is the same, master, king or god of groups. And everything is in group. Gods are in groups. Successful human beings remain in groups. When the family only succeeds, it remains as a close-knit family which interacts, communicates, and not stuck to the iPhone or digital devices. I recognize the value of individuality. You need certain amount of freedom, but unless you communicate in your social circle, family circle, learning from others and sharing others with the information, nobody advances. That's why we meet in different conferences, medical conferences, different methods that we be better. In Marathi he said, Kelyane deshatana pandita maitri sabheta sanchara. By traveling, spending the time of satsang, that means enlighten people, and traveling, meeting good people, and sabheta, that means appearing in the conferences, because you learn from scholars in your field. You're lucky enough to share your specialty with other people who are interested. Then only you can advance yourselves. These are the methods by which you do. Now, again, if you take the cosmological meaning of Ganapati, the etymological meaning I told you, Ganapati, that means master of the group. But the cosmological meaning of Ganapati is the manifestation. Ganapati is Maya is Eka. Maya is Eka. That means by the power of Brahman, by the creative power of Brahman, he is able to inject the creation, and one who masters it, the power of the Lord, is Danta. So Ekadantaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimai. Ekadantaya vidmahe, that means I bow down to, pray to Ekadanta, that means who masters the Maya, and Vakratunda, Vakra means negative tendencies, abnormal tendencies, Tunda means who beats it. So basically who gets rid of the negative tendencies of the world. Vakratundaya means Tanno Danti Prachodaya. So that is how one of the mantras that we will sing somewhere down the road. So, Om Gam Ganapataye Namah Tameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi Tvam Eva Pratyaksham Tattvam Asi. You alone are Pratyaksha Tattva. The Pratyaksha म्हणजे काय? Pratyaksha means Tattva means reality. Reality, the truth, Arun, does not change. Reality remains constant. How so? It is called Trikala Abhadita. Trikala Abhadita Satya. That means does not change in the past, it remains obviously in the present, and does not change in the future. So when it's constant in the past, and the present, and the future, that is the reality. And that is exactly what the Brahman is. For example, in the relationship with clay and pot, pot is present now. When it breaks, it becomes clay. Initially it was clay, in the present is pot, when it breaks becomes clay. So that becomes present, it is there, it was not there in the past, it won't be future. So it's not satya, it's not reality. Then it's also, tattvam is also defined as anaropita karam. Aropita karam. It means an means no, aropita is fixed. Karam is akaram. Aropita akaram. That means it's not confined to one form. So this creation created by God, Brahman, by his Maya Shakti is passed on to it, creates various forms and the shapes, different names, but reality is nothing but Brahman. So, and this reality, this tattva, which does not change in the past, present and the future, is the tattva. And since it does not have any specific form, shape or attribute, it's aropita akaram. That is also a quality of tattva. Now, it also talks about this Brahman is kept in the heart of the individual. It's called Rudayasya Gruhayam. So that Brahman is right within. As a matter of fact, I was telling you the other day, Atharvana, who wrote Mundak as well as Mandukya, and of course Ganapati Upanishad, he also connects in Mundak Upanishad, second chapter and second khanda of it, and 11th verse, states, whatever is in the front is the immortal Brahman alone. Brahman also is in the back. Brahman alone is in the right and alone to the left. And also above and below is Brahman, but stays within the heart of the devotee. Is present within him. Now, so basically, Yajnavalkya says the same. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagati. There is nothing else but God. There is only God, nothing else. But once you realize that awareness is all, everything name and forms are basically temporary, transient, and our misunderstanding or incomplete knowledge, the things becomes easy, we don't get attached and to get upset. We say pratyaksha, that means pratyaksha. That means I see with my own eyes. But also pratyaksha can be pratichakshu, prati ears, prati tongue, prati skin. So you can see various ways. So that is perception, direct perception. But to realize that this awareness is the sentience that has come within us, and all the functions that sense organs perform is nothing but that awareness. That's why in Kena Upanishad says, Kshotrasya Kshotram, the hearing that you hear of the ears, Manaso Manovan, the mind of the mind, Vachoha Vacham, the Vak Shakti coming from that, Pranasya Prana, Chakshusha Chakshu, Atimuchya Dhiraha, Pretasma Loka, Amruta Bhavanti. It is ear of the ear, mind of the mind, speech of the speech, and the prana or the vital breath of the prana, knowing it as the eye of the eye, the wise rising above the identification with the body and senses, again immortality. So you have to realize that all the power that you have got is nothing but the awareness expressing that power to different sense organs that we have. So awareness is common to all pulses of knowledge. It's common to all conscious beings, as I told you, is only one awareness. If the world represents waves, people are boasting because it's a very tall wave, a rich man, and somebody is poor because it's a trough. But in reality, Brahman represents water. So what goes up must come down. So high wave cyclically will go down. So for to realize that is nothing but water expressing different shapes and forms from different times to time, then you understand what Brahman really is. Now, then he continued, Tvam eva kevalam karta asi. You alone are the creator. Tvam eva dharta asi, are only the one who is sustainer. Tvam eva kevalam harta asi. You alone are the annihilator. So really speaking, everything creator, sustainer, and annihilator is nothing but Brahman, and that is depicted in our temple with Dattatreya temple upstairs. Okay. Now, I won't refer to Sanskrit verse, but I'll translate in English. Sri Krishna telling Vidura in Mahabharata, in Bhagavatam, O Vidura, Vidura is the younger brother of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura, reflecting in Maya, reflecting in my Maya, the universal power, composed of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, I create this universe. I sustain it, I annihilate it, I assume 3 names in accordance with the acts I perform. Such statements are present in every other scripture. That Lord may be called Vishnu or Shiva, but he is called Ganapati in this Upanishad. The difference is only nominal or verbal by different words. And then Tvameva sarvam khalu idam brahma asi tvam sakshat atma asi nitya. And that's where we stopped last time. Now supreme reality is nothing but a substratum. That's what we learned last time. Now when we talk about origin of both space and time creates this world of names and forms. It is beyond the Brahman, since it's Trikala Abadit, it is beyond the time and the space, so it does not get conformed to the 4 dimensions. It's beyond that. So this is a non-dual Brahman alone is the reality of this manifold appearing creation. So all that is there is Brahman. Tvam eva khalu idam brahmasi. You are nothing else but Brahman. Now, the entire universe, something to remember, Vasu, despite its variety and diversity, is further subdivided into subclasses. Those classes are, some of these are organic, not the organic food that you see in the grocery stores, but some are organic because they reflect life, the active power of the Lord, and that's called sentient. These are sentient. The power of the Lord is dormant in others and are called inorganic or insentient. Not that Lord is not there, but it's in the potential form, so they're insentient. Those who are in active form are the sentient. That is the world that we live in. Now, and of course we can go through the division of gross elements, starting with earth, Prithvi, Apa, Teja, Vayu and Akash. And so what happens is, earth is the grossest and space is the smallest. So if you want to look at the ice cream cone, so starting with a big cone on the top, don't let it drop down, and the tip at the bottom is the smallest, and that is the space. So that is basically the fact. And this non-dual existence in the tapered form expressed in the creation through Maya Shakti, that understanding is a knowledge of Satvidya. That is a knowledge of truth which exists all the way through in the form of a Maya. Now, having resolved the universe into Lord, we need to proceed similarly towards individual to complete the journey of ultimate reality. Now, my body has its existence in the sense organs. The body is perceived as a result of integration of all sensations caused by 5 sense organs. Everybody knows that. All these sense organs have their existence in mind, because none of them work without mind working. The mind in turn exists in ego. Even though mind can be divided into 4 subparts, mana, that senses, oscillates. Did I forget the keys? Did I keep the keys in the car? Did I close the garage door? That's mind. Buddhi is kind of cognitively decides, oh, I remember closing it. I remember it coming down. So Buddhi analyzes and cognitive. Intellect says, I know it. And the one, let's do that. I don't need to go back to close the garage door. I know it. Makes a decision. And the ego says, I'm not going back. He's the one who associates as if he is the one who's ultimately mastering the thing. So ego is the ultimate part, because it is the ego that wields the mind as an instrument of knowing the things of the world. The ego in turn is like a whirlpool in the nothing but limitless awareness. So ego comes directly from ahankara. So in a way, ego is the child of awareness. And the pity is, this child, because of ignorance or losing the memory, because the curtain of ignorance dawns on him, the child overshadows the parent or its very source. So that ego starts thinking, I did it, I enjoyed it. And that kartrutva and bhoktrutva is the one, that ego, that brings you down. Till the time you meet an enlightened teacher who brings you down to earth and treats you appropriately and reminds you it is happening despite you. And then that kartrutva goes away, that bhoktrutva go away, and that understanding your physical prowess is only because of that absolute power awareness, knowing that in the sentient body is the chit vidya, the absolute existence of the sat vidya, understanding that chit vidya in your body, mind, all the effects going through the sense organs and everything, and knowing the connection to the absolute awareness is the chit vidya, sat and chit. The final truth can be arrived through either the sat aspect or the chit aspect of the Brahman. Okay. See, the word sakshat is very significant. What do you mean? Now, you got to remember, how do we perceive the things in life? If I see with my own eyes a bottle of water, or a microphone right here which does not function, a piece of paper right here, but I perceive it, I hear somebody talking and boring me, that becomes basically a perception. That is pratyaksha. I can experience it myself. Now, if you want me to tell you about heaven and hell, if I tell you something and you don't have any experience for it, only thing that you're going to say is Dr. Sane says so maybe it's right, maybe it is not right. And if you accept it as such, that becomes a paroksha dhyana. That means you're getting a knowledge because somebody says so, and you may accept it because when somebody refers to you with whom you respect, you accept it as such, that becomes paroksha dhyana. Now, the mood that Amar has in his mind, the taste that you had in the morning when you had a cup of tea, the pinches that Dipti gave you and your pain, that I cannot feel. That becomes your own perception, not my perception, not anybody else's perception. So that becomes a aparoksha jnana. So you saw the pratyaksha jnana through perception, paroksha jnana where somebody tells you and you accept it, and aparoksha is only person who can appreciate it is yourself. That is aparoksha jnana. But that is not what I'm talking about. Now it finally leaves the essential content of the knower to himself, because then it becomes sakshat. That means it is a self-evident yourself awareness. That is sakshat. So you are sakshi. So that was the basic word that we just said. Was it okay. So there is sakshat and sakshi. That is as far as we finished last time. Okay. So we talked about introduction. I reviewed quickly what we did last time, and a couple of verses for this morning. Now follow me exactly the pronunciation. Rutam vachmi, Satyam vachmi. Simple. I mean, when I was reading as a youngster, it meant nothing big deal. I declared, that you are Rutam. I declare that you are Satyam. I have exactly pronounced and everybody is happy about it. They mean exactly the same. It really means Rutam is knowledge. It means exactly the truth. Satyam is truth. What is the difference? Rutam is the knowledge that is fully ascertained by the scriptures. Okay. It does not change based upon the time, situations, conditions. So that is, Rutam is Trikala Badit. Trikala Abadita. Does not change in the past, present, or the future. When it is Parimarthik Satya, that means changes according to Desha, Kala, Paristhiti. That means based upon the location, the times, and the situation. This is assimilated truth and local laws and customs and peculiar for the should be followed through for overall best interest. There's a story that Sri Krishna tells about sage Kaushika. He had taken a vow, I am not ever going to tell a lie in my life. And he was boastful of that. So one day what happened was, as he was sitting in meditation, the meditation not sleeping or snoring, but you're fully aware what's happening around, but your mind is concentrated, he noticed that some poor man was running towards him for help. And he said, I'm going to hide behind the bushes. Some guy is coming with a knife to stab me. He heard. He hid behind the bushes. Then came the robber, who also knows that he doesn't tell him the lie. He asked him, where is he hiding? He said, right here behind the bushes. And that gentleman lost his life. So when he died, he suffered the consequences of that, as Shri Krishna described. Albeit only for a short period of time. But nonetheless, if he was following the Parimarthik Satya, what is good for the circumstances, then that would have been the correct action to do. For example, Ahimsa is a important universal value. But if I examine you, Vatsal, and I find a pain, acute pain in the right lower quadrant of the abdomen, when I press on it, McBurney's point, and you hit the ceiling, I'm going to take you down to surgery and crack you open and take your inflamed appendix out. You see what I mean? That's violence. But that violence is essential, because if we don't operate on you, you're going to be in deep doo-doo. So that is a Parimarthik Satya. The violence, non-violence is important. That is not in the way of saving your life. So it is Parimarthik Satya. So Rutam is totally unchanging. Satya, Parimarthik Satya is changing. But here says, you are both Rutam and you are Satya. They also are the words reflecting the two orders of reality. That means creation is both empirical as well as absolute. For example, again we have given you the example, pot and the clay, which is pot, that is basically Parimarthik Satya is pot, but ultimate one is clay. So that is in relationship with that particular example. But we should be alert to the fact there's only one non-dual Brahman, and the world is a superimposition on it, as we talk about Maya. The appearance cannot exist outside or without the real. Now, therefore the same non-dual Brahman, despite appearing as this world, remains eternal in its own glory. So Ruta is the empirical reality here, while Satya is the absolute reality. The devotee declares that both of them are nothing but Brahman. Now, Ruta, again you are scientists, is the order that holds the universe together. as the cosmos. So in the absence of the universal order, there will be only chaos. For example, Rita expresses as the gravitational field that sustains the orbital motion of all the planets in this cosmos. Now, and as the planets go around the sun. All the laws of nature help us to maintain the universal order. Or faith of, talking about spirituality, Hinduism, mislabeled as Hinduism, is based upon laws of nature. That is all Rita. Basically, law of existence, sakshat, you cannot deny that. Energy remains constant as reincarnation, and there is a cause and effect is karma. These are three basic laws of nature which are basically the basic foundation of our way of spiritual living, been going on for thousands of years. I don't know if I mentioned that to you or not, but about 4 weeks ago there was an article which appeared, and maybe I mentioned to you, is about 35 kilometers west of Chennai. They found intelligent humanoids approximately 175 years before the caves in Israel, and Israel was about 120 years before the things found in Africa. So what I'm trying to say is the existence of human being has been there for thousands and thousands of years, earlier than we suspect. And when we talk about the human artifacts are found 10,000 years old, but that's only because the present Earth age is only 10,000 years. Because the recent ice age stopped 8,000 BC, and 2,000 after that makes it 10,000. And the earlier ice age lasted 60 to 70,000 years. So it is probably before that. And how many ice ages ago, God only knows. What I'm trying to say is, for us to say that our spiritual play is living only 4,444 years, that is not the way we practice. We have eternal span of spiritual living. Now, I mentioned about Rita maintains the law of nature. Satya is absolute reality, the substratum of the universal order. That means with the statement of devotee recognizes both the Rita and Satya is Ganapati. Key, of course, that's the reason that becomes a key deity in the Panchayatan selected by Shankaracharya. Now, the next two verses that we'll conclude with are the prayers for protection. Now, say now, avatvam mam, avavaktaram, avashrotaram, avadataram, avadhataram, avanmuchanam, avashishyam, avapashchatat, avapurastat, avauttaratat, avadakshinatat, avachurdhvatat, avadharatat, sarvatomam pahi pahi samantat. Okay, simple. Ava tvam mam. Ava means protect. Tvam means you, and mam me. Please protect me. Ava vaktaram. Protect the teacher who is singing this Upanishad. Ava vaktaram, who is speaking. Protect the one who listens to the Upanishad. Ava shrotaram, one who is listening to it. Protect the one who initiates the devotees into worship. Ava dataram, who is giving it to you. Protect the one who commits to the Upanishad to memory. Protect the student who recites the Upanishad after the teacher. Ava dataram, because after you sing it many times, then you memorize it in the chitta, and that who maintains it is avadhataram. Avanuchanam, avashishyam. Avanuchanam, avashishyam. Protect the student, avashishyam, who studies the meaning of Upanishad. Avanuchanam, one who is trying to understand the meaning of this Upanishad. Avashishyam, again, protect me. So the prayer is sung together by the teacher and disciples. They want to make certain that both the teacher and the students are protected. Every enlightened teacher has gone through the traditional teaching, was once a student, and every student, if he completes the studies, is recognized by the teacher or guru. That means you cannot go out till the time the teacher gives you stamp of approval. It took me many years till the time I got it in 2012 from Swami Dayananda display. When I've been his student since 1985, and before that for 5 years with Chinmayananda, and before that Bhashyananda from 1970 to all. I mean, once you become a student, you're still a student all the time. And ava is a kind of parasmaipadi verb, means both style. Avatu, avati, doesn't matter. So it goes both ways. Means to protect or to defend. Now again the next verse is ava purastat, ava dakshinat, ava paschat, avottarat, ava chordvat, ava dharat, sarvatomam pahi samantat. Again, Sanskrit is so clear. Ava purastat, protect me from whatever adversity is coming from east, purva. Whatever is coming from paschim, west, paschattat, paschim. What is coming from south, dakshinattat. Coming from uttarattat, protect me from north. Ava chordhattat, from the above. Ava dharat, adhara means down. Protect me coming from down. And sarva to mam pahi some, that means coming from all directions and possible ways, because the human being is considered this creation has 4 dimensions, except this guy is asking him to be protected from all other directions that we yet don't understand it. So he says, wherever it comes from, still protect me. Sarvato mam pahi samantat. Now, the earlier verse was all about the teacher, student and the knowledge. And this is more of a general prayer. Here Ganapati is addressed as the cosmic person in charge as he manifests his physical world and wields his power. An obstacle, danger and adversity can be hurled upon from any direction, not just the 4 directions that I mentioned. Since we know that our relationship with Lord, we seek refuge from that God and request the protection from any dangers or adversities. Bachao, protect me from all sides. Now, Lord Sri Krishna says in 7th verse of the 15th chapter, Mamaiva anshe, jiva loke, jiva bhutaha sanatana. That means for eternity, my small fragment is existing in all this creation in the form of Jivatma. So he basically says, like the Jiva Udyata Dasom, Tam Jiva Udyata Tadonshaka. So that's exactly what he's saying, that every created is created by the Brahman is nothing but Brahman in the form of small Pullinga, a small fragment, a small portion, but again is the same entity. So why he is asking to protect from all sides? The individual in the world of individuals, now when we have done something wrong, and I'm not pointing finger at anybody, we behave like Dennis the Menace. I mentioned that to you last time. What you do is go and ask for protection from your family members who love you. Because Mom and dad are not going to beat you up. They're not going to punish you seriously. He's going to ask you to sit in the corner of the chair, but not going to give you a severe punishment. And if you admit your mistake and go in his or her corner, the chances of a punishment being severe is very small, or sometimes you get completely off the punishment after sitting in the chair. So that's why here the prayer is done, bachao, basically asking me to protect from all different sides. Because we recognize, despite all our faults, we are the integral part of the same Brahman. Now, if the word is, heard the word purastat, dakshinatat, or chodhvatat, now word attat is significant when it's attached. Thus the meaning of all these requests is, please protect me from whatever adversity that I may have attracted from all possible directions. Not only that I may have done advertently or inadvertently something wrong, but whatever negative things that I have created about myself, knowingly or unknowingly, like the Jains putting the face mask or walking barefoot, thinking they don't kill. They do kill, but they have a false impression that they don't. But nonetheless, whatever inadvertently you have done, you're asking protection from that too. So recognizing this universal cosmic law of cause and effect, again I talk about Sanatana Dharma, known as karma, the devotee seeks to neutralize or at least in part diminish the ill effects of the future events with the grace of God. So that was the last part of it. And then he concludes with Adhyatmik Swarup. Because in the last couple of verses we'll talk about Adhyatmik Swarup of the Ganesha. He says, Tvam Vangmayas Chinmaya, Tvam Vangmayas Chinmaya, Tamanandamayas, Tvam Brahmamaya, Tamananda Brahmamaya, Tvam Satchidananda Advitiyosi, Tvam Pratyaksham Brahmasi, Tvam Jnanamayo Vijnanamayosi. We'll discuss this a little further. Right? Since I mentioned Vangmayas, Tanchinmaya, Vangmayas means Vak Shakti. It means power of speech. As a matter of fact, in the next verse maybe I'll discuss detail, but I'll give you some preview. There are 4 different kinds of speeches. Okay. One is called para speech. That means you're shouting from your umbilicus or from the gut, shouting like Dean, the Democratic Party chairman speaking in the Iowa caucus in a screaming voice. Then you get knocked off. It is para. Second is pashyanti. That's what you want to be. Because coming directly from the heart. You see, visualize it, and it coming from directly from the heart because it is assimilated truth. It is being passed on out of love, coming from there. Third is madhyama. That means you're quietly speaking to yourself. You're opening the door to somebody. Why the heck is he here? Come on in, come on in. You are trying to welcome somebody in the house, but in your mind of mind, I don't want his company, got better things to do. So to yourself saying, in a very negative way, but of course outside you're saying, come on in. So it's called madhyama. You don't want to do that. And finally is vaikhari, the standard speech that you have, communication that we do. There are 4 different kinds of speeches: para, pashyanti, madhyama, and vaikhari. We can describe the various kinds of speeches. Now, he basically said, Tvam Vangmayas Tvanchinmaya. So you are basically consciousness and sentience. We talked about it before. And of course, also all Ananda Shakti, Anandamayas Tvam Brahma, Anandamaya. That means also Ananda Shakti is, Ananda means bliss. Really speaking, Ananda should be considered as Ananta. It also means it is unlimited, limitlessness. The real happiness comes around when you don't feel limited. Because even if my mother gives me 1 peda I can still see the dabba is still full of it. So my eyes are still on the rest of the pedas in that. So here is a fulfilled, when she gives me the whole box of pedas, then I feel fulfilled with that apparition. But here basically asking, give me complete fullness, Anandavaya. And really speaking, once you realize who you are, what else do you need, really speaking? Once you realize you are Satchit Ananda, everything else is immaterial. Nothing like you don't enjoy it, but once you know the whole thing, everything is not as significant. Then he says, you are incomparable. Advitiyosi. Like you are incomparable. No pratyaksham brahmasi. Tu, you are yourself. Pratyaksha we talk about, that means with your eyes, brahmasi. That means I can visualize you as a Brahman, because now we are talking about as not just a knowledge, but with a wisdom. So that becomes pratyaksham brahma asi. Your knowledge and wisdom that can only come through personal experience, jnana and vijnana. Now, this creation is nothing but a large conglomeration of countless forms and shapes we talk about. So all these forms and the shapes, attributes are coming out from the same Brahman. Now, now the forms are the Sat aspect of Lord, whereas consciousness is the Chit aspect of the Lord. Okay, that's why Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic coming of Chit aspect. And Ananda is total fulfillment, overflowing fulfillment is the Ananda aspect. So the dynamic expression of the infinitude of Atman is the Ananda, happiness. Now, so basically saying, so Satchidananda Advitiyosi, there is no other happiness than Brahman. The objects of the world, we erroneously think give us happiness. What really happened during that time, something to remember. You want to have a new car, and you think that unless you have a new car, you're not complete. The moment you get it, your desire is fulfilled, and for that moment, there is nothing else in your mind. So to me, the clouds of ignorance which were covering your inner wisdom or the Brahman, which were preventing it from fully manifesting, are temporarily removed. And what you are in the direct communion, if you will, with the Brahman, and at that time you find happiness. That happiness is not because of the car, but because you're in direct connection with the Brahman. So when you are in Samadhi, that's exactly what happens. Tvam pratyaksham brahmasi, and the last verse was Tvam jnanamayo vijnanamayosi. So Brahman present us in the form of word, you alone are in the form of awareness and consciousness, and you are also a personified Brahman. Now, I alluded to earlier, there's a general impression that it is difficult to attain Godhead. That is liberation. That's a general impression. But here in the Upanishad holds a contrary viewpoint, which I did not understand as a youngster. Brahman abides in the heart of every living being all the time as the innermost one. The God is not somewhere else out there. It instead is right here in the cave of Guha. And again, I referred to you of Mundak Upanishad earlier, second, 11th verse. The luminous Brahman, to translate exact words, the luminous Brahman dwells in the cave of the heart and is known to move there. Again, the same author, Atharvana, in both Ganapatya Sampradaya as the Mundak Upanishad. So basically, God is omnipotent, God is not finite or anything else, and God is not any different or separate than oneself. And true realization to see the God everywhere and in everything, the entire creation, is to be cognitively enveloped in divinity. Again, there are two Upanishads. Antar Bahishcha Tat Sarvam Vyapta Narayana Sthita. Mahanarayana Upanishad. Everything is Vasudevam Sarvam Viti. Again, Yajñalka Ishavasividam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatyam. God is everywhere. There is nothing but God. Basically, we also have, again, to give another example, Jnana and Vijnana. Me telling you that sugar is sweet without sharing with you, I'm giving you knowledge. Sugar is sweet. But finally, when you get that spoon of sugar from me and you taste it, that becomes Vijnana. So knowledge is different than wisdom because you experienced it. Now, we have Jnana Vijnana Yoga in Gita. That means indirect knowledge of Brahman gained by the seeker by listening to the scriptures is Jnana. This knowledge may still have a few doubts about it in the seeker's mind. Unless they ask the question, you cannot get the answers, because the one who's teaching you does not know what your questions are. Unless you tell me your symptoms, your problems, I cannot treat you. And that's why you need a teacher. Again, the Mundaka Upanishad, the Kasmin no Bhagavate, what knowing which everything is known. Again, Mundaka Upanishad, Atharvana. So he talks about, again the same Upanishad, Mandukya. You need Kshotriya Brahmanishta. That means one who is well read, and Brahmanishta means grounded in Brahman. So you need a teacher who is grounded in Brahman, knowing the Brahman, and well read, that means well heard, Kshotriya. He knows Shruti, he is well read, he is well heard, listened to enlightened people, and you need that person who exemplifies in his own action. So this is Jnana and Vijnana. Knowledge and Vijnana is the wisdom. And that is what the talks about Jnana and Vijnana. I'll stop you. That's what we have done so far. We finished up to 5 verses so far.